Jayson Tatum has spent his entire career ahead of the curve. Drafted by the Boston Celtics at 19, playing in the Eastern Conference Finals at 20 and claiming All-NBA first-team honors at 24. The St. Louis native's youth and promise have been such persistent talking points among his supporters that sarcastic social media users, annoyed by the hype, like to pretend he's still a teenager. Nodding to these widespread cracks, Tatum once tweeted that he was 19 years old for the fourth straight season. But this postseason has marked a delineation point, in which talk of Tatum's potential has been superseded by the reality of his blossoming superstardom in playoff series victories against Kevin Durant's Brooklyn Nets, Giannis Antetokounmpo's Milwaukee Bucks, and Jimmy Butler's Miami Heat. With the NBA Finals knotted at 2 heading into a Game 5 at Chase Center, the Celtics find themselves needing more than ever from Tatum, whose play against the Golden State Warriors has left something to be desired. He is expected to be in contention for a spot on the All-NBA first team, and would likely be a serious MVP candidate if he had started the season as strong as he finished it. Stadium's Jeff Goodman is aiming even higher with his praise. Appearing on the Greg Hill Show, Goodman said he believes Tatum is the best all-around player in the NBA right now. The thing with Jayson Tatum now is, there's no hole in his game. He's the best all-around player in the NBA, in my opinion, Goodman said. All around, no weakness in his game. He can score from 3. He can pull up. He can finish through contact. He rebounds his position. He's a really good passer now. He's a really good defender. Like Morant, not a great shooter. Giannis, not a very good shooter. KD, obviously, still kind of the guy, but he's not as good defensively as consistently as Jayson Tatum. Part of it is just the stage of his career. Once you get older, no matter who you are, you start to slow down defensively and pick your spots. Jayson Tatum obviously isn't there yet. He's gotten better. I mean, he wasn't very good defensively in college, and I felt like even his first year in the league, we forget what he was even a couple years ago. The offensive end, he couldn't finish through contact. He didn't want contact. Now he wants it. He absorbs it. He finishes through it. Just listening to him last night, he's gotten so much more mature about everything, about the right things, instead of worrying about maybe the second contract or some of those things, his own numbers, his points. He could always do this and make people better. He's just matured. Goodman said that one area where that maturity is showing up is that Tatum, along with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and the rest of the Celtics, bought into the way Ime Udoka wants him to play and has become a much more unselfish player. It shows kind of the maturity of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart to understand it, to be able to look in the mirror a little bit and say, you know what? This dude's right. We're not playing the right way, Goodman said. I talked to Tatum last night about it. I always said that at times, it looked like Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown had never played basketball together. I asked him that and he said, I think that's a little bit harsh, a little bit too much. I said, that's fair, but you guys are playing off each other so much better. I mean, they had half the team's assists last night, the two of them. You never would have imagined that last year or the first part of this year. They're giving the ball up knowing that even if they don't get it back, someone's gonna get a good shot. They're just not shot hunting like they were. LeBron James is used to criticism. He's dealt with it since he was a high school basketball phenom in Akron, Ohio, while James feels it's part of being a professional athlete. He said critics may have gone too far with Boston Celtics star Jayson Tatum during his first NBA final appearance. Listen, usually the people that's saying the S is the ones that's never walked in the arena, James said on the latest edition of HBO's The Shop. Theodore Roosevelt, the man in the arena, talks about it. Man, it's so easy to S on people when they've never ever raised their blood pressure level or their heart rate above a 60 and they out here telling you what you should do, how you should kick, how you should do this role, how you should paint. Tatum battled inconsistency in the Celtics form in his 2 loss to the Golden State Warriors, who won their 4th title since 2015. James, who played for the Miami Heat from 2010 to 14, compared it to when he led the Cleveland Cavaliers against a seasoned San Antonio Spurs team in the 2007 finals. The Cavs were swept 4-0. It's like Jayson Tatum is a beast, James said. He didn't play to his standards. Like man, he had a hell of a season and them guys ain't even 25 yet. He'll be back. He's got nothing to hang his hat on. He played against the same team my first finals. I played against the Spurs. It's same as and they took advantage of me not knowing much. Jayson Tatum gave arguably the best performance of his career this year, outdueling the NBA's best player in Kevin Durant and leading the C's to a 126-120 win over the Brooklyn Nets at TD Garden. Tatum dropped 54 points, tying Larry Bird for the most 50-point games in Celtics history with 4 on 1/6 of 3-0 shooting with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. In 1 week, Tatum scored a combined 124 points over 3 games in wins versus Durant, Morant's Memphis Grizzlies, and Trae Young's Atlanta Hawks. It's one of the most impressive stretches for any player this season. Tatum has been so good that a former Duke star and Chicago Bulls draft pick Jay Williams brought up Kobe Bryant's name when discussing the Celtics forward's evolution. As much as we talk about Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and all these young players who are going to be the face of the league, we don't really mention the name Jayson Tatum anymore. It blows my mind, Williams said Monday on ESPN Radio's Keyshawn, J. Will and Max show. Last night, for him to have 54 points, he reminds me so much of Kobe. That's why when we talk about what kind of trades the Lakers should make, I'm not saying the Celtics would ever go for it, but there's so much of that in the way he plays. He put on size and frame now. His game is just built to be one of the best. Williams later added, he's always had that mentality. He's always been that dude who wants the ball down the stretch. He's not afraid of the big moments. We see a lot of players shy away from big moments. That's not who Jayson Tatum is. The Celtics, led by Tatum's dominant play, have won 16 of their last 19 games. And many of those victories came against teams currently in a playoff spot. Boston enters Monday just 1.5 games out of second place and 4.5 games behind the first place Miami Heat. They are clicking on both sides of the ball with a top 10 offense and by far the league's best defense since Jan. 1. The Celtics will be a very tough out in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and if Tatum is going to play anywhere near this level on a consistent basis, reaching the NBA Finals in June is not an unrealistic goal for the franchise. 4 years ago, it was happening right before our eyes. Having just turned 20 years old, Jayson Tatum entered the Eastern Conference Finals and prepared for a head-to-head battle against one of his childhood idols, LeBron James. This was during a time that LeBron reaching the finals was already a given, and each series leading up to his showdown with Golden State lacked outside interest. However, Tatum put the world on notice as a rookie. He wasn't backing down. The Celtics knew they were too undermanned for anyone to take them seriously. But Tatum and Jaylen Brown had everyone second-guessing themselves as the series extended to 7 games. From the moment Tatum delivered a thunderous jam on James, who was the best player in the world at the time, it was clear he would be on this stage for many years to come. Everyone who knows Tatum seems to come back to this. He might be naturally gifted, he might work on his game obsessively, but what seems to distinguish him in the biggest moment, and there have been many during these playoffs as he has led the Boston Celtics to their first NBA Finals in 12 years, is his belief in himself.